Hunger Games. The one note that I have written down on this about it being good was that it was a thought-provoking story. Like, what if one part of the world or one part of a country, because they never really mention it, but what country it is, but I'm assuming it's the US. I don't know why. I'm just assuming that. Just because right, I'm just assuming it. I have no real reason to back this up aside from the accents from the characters. That's about it. The one thing that I wrote down on here was it was like a thought-provoking story in the sense of like, what would happen if the government took total military control and then they designated different districts to do different roles, but then they made their entire lives into a game show. Ooh, spooky, right? Excuse me. That burp was more interesting than the intro half of the whole movie.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
This movie was thought-provoking, and when I first read the books and watched the movies, I was probably back in middle school. I was like, oh yeah, woo, yeah, teenager stuff, this is so cool, you know. Wow, I sound like friggin' Morty from Rick and Morty there for a second. Oh, that was pretty cool, Rick! Yeah, it was a thought-provoking story in the sense of, like, what if this happened and became a reality show and then everything just went into dystopia and just fell apart? There was, like, one person who wasn't even foretold. Thank goodness they didn't use a prophecy in this movie because I freaking hate prophecies now. This person was foretold by a prophecy that they would come to light. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, but screw yourself. But screw yourself. It's just like one person who has more resolve to rise up against, but she doesn't even really kind of want to rise up against the government, which I thought was like pretty interesting because you have a character who's unwilling and unforetold by prophecy, so the people have no way to see it coming and what the response by the government to that would be. Like, I thought that was really cool, and I think that's like what's really cool for the whole 4 movies of this freaking franchise. I won't waste your time though to make 4 different reviews for the 4 different movies. I'm just going to review like all 4 of them here as a whole. I think that this movie, what it unfortunately does is it also takes, like Batman vs. Superman, it takes way too much time to get around to its title. You know, The Hunger Games in an hour and a half. The Hunger Games, sort of, but the throwback version, the Hunger Games characters fight it out in a civil war. Part 1 and Part 2. That's it. That's your movie franchise right there. I don't know how to review this movie. I'm just thinking, like, there's a lot of teen angst, there's a lot of just taking forever to get around to the title, a lot of just sitting there and doing nothing that could be avoided to make a slightly more interesting action story. I think that may not have been what the movie was going for. That could be totally possible. Where the movie was trying to, instead of going for like an action movie, they were going for more of a suspense drama movie, which they did play really well. Now, I'm thinking though, however, in the sense of an action movie because of the name of the movie itself and the book itself. The Hunger Games. Not the government convoluted story love line. That's a totally legitimate title. I'm gonna make a sketch off of that now. As confused as I am to reviewing the story and as to what other title you could make for this movie, because it wasn't really the games, it was just about the government. It was just about the politics of this thing, and then the games were a bit of a nice like add-on. It's kind of like if you get a salad and then you put bacon bits on it. The bacon bits was the Hunger Games, even though the bacon bits is supposed to be the highlight of the whole salad. I mean, in reality, I love salad, and I think the sauce tastes better and bacon bits taste terrible. That's just my personal preference. But some people think that those bacon bits, that little Hunger Games, is really good, and I don't blame them. I think that they can be fine with that. That's their opinion, right? Some people might say that I'm totally wrong. Like, they were trying to make this suspenseful because, well, I don't know why you would, but they did. And if you guys have an explanation for it, you know, knock yourselves out. Also, the one other thing that it does really wrong is that it references some things that wouldn't make sense unless you've read the book. So, for example, the numbers that they talk about, like how many times they've been put into the lottery and been drawn, you would never understand unless you watched the movie long enough, or if you've like read the book or talked over it with your friends who have read the book. You know, it just doesn't make sense. The movie title itself it's not misleading, but it takes forever to get to the movie title, and it's kind of underwhelming once you realize like how little of it there is, even though it's like a great climax, which I think that's what this movie also did really well, was Great rising, little too much rising, way too much exposition, great climax, and then falling action through the series was just... sitting on top of a piano, so... I can play the chord of C, everybody! Woo! And that's all I really have to say. I don't have any other points, so if you guys actually do have something to say, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you have something to say, or if you think that I could have added something to this movie review, go ahead and comment down in the comment box below, and I will see you all around the block. Peace.